The crowd was already screaming, the lights were dimmed, and the air was thick with anticipation, but no one, not even the most diehard Blinks, could have predicted what would unfold on that electric night in Toronto. BLACKPINK had just landed, and they weren't just performing. They were making history. The Rogers Centre pulsed like a living heartbeat, bursting with over 50,000 fans. But as the lasers cut through the night sky and the first beats of Pink Venom dropped, something shifted. All eyes began drifting toward one member. Jisoo. Before we dive into exactly how Jisoo became the epicenter of one of BLACKPINK's most unforgettable concerts to date, make sure you tap that follow button and drop your thoughts in the comments. Which BLACKPINK moment has left you speechless? You won't want to miss what's coming next. BLACKPINK's Toronto stop was already hyped beyond belief. Tickets sold out in under 5 minutes. Scalpers were demanding over $1,000 per seat. Fans from across North America flooded the city. This wasn't just a concert, it was a pilgrimage. But here's where it gets interesting. Just days before the show, whispers started circulating online. Something was different about Jisoo. Fans who spotted her at Pearson Airport said she looked radiant, mysterious, almost like she knew something the world didn't. When the show began, the usual chaos erupted, Jennie's rap verses slicing through the air, Lisa's explosive dance breaks igniting the stage, Rose's vocals pouring emotion into every note. But then Jisoo stepped forward. The music paused. A new intro played. A completely unexpected remix of Flower, her solo hit, began. The crowd didn't scream. They roared. It wasn't just another song. This was a statement. A transformation. A moment she appeared in a custom gown that shimmered like stardust under the LED sky. Her voice, softer yet stronger than ever, echoed with purpose. Each note wrapped around the crowd like a spell. And for the next 4 minutes, time froze. Cameras panned. Fans sobbed. Even the other members looked at her like they were witnessing something special. This wasn't just Jisoo performing a song. This was her announcing her arrival as a solo powerhouse, even in the heart of BLACKPINK's world tour. And just when the song ended and you thought the energy would dip? No chance. Jisoo looked directly into the camera, gave a wink, and whispered, "Toronto, this is our secret." Cue complete meltdown. Twitter exploded. Instagram feeds were flooded. TikTok edits began trending in real time. Hashtags like #JISOInToronto and #JISOMoment hit millions of views within hours. One clip of her stage moment alone racked up 7.8 million views overnight. And this wasn't even the end. Halfway through the concert, during the group's acoustic set, another unexpected twist, Lisa handed Jisoo the mic and said, "Show them your heart." Without hesitation, Jisoo sang an unreleased ballad. Soft, raw, and heartbreakingly beautiful. The screen behind her flashed with scenes from her childhood, her training days, her rise with BLACKPINK. It was a cinematic experience. The audience held their breath. Grown men cried. And when the song ended, there was silence, before the loudest applause of the night erupted. Why did this moment land so hard? Because it wasn't manufactured. It wasn't pre-hyped. It was real. Authentic. Emotional. In an industry where everything is so carefully curated, this felt like a moment of vulnerability. A rare glimpse behind the idol image. And fans felt it deeply. Now here's something you might not know. Behind the scenes, Jisoo had been planning this moment for months. According to a backstage source, she worked directly with the production team to create a custom visual sequence just for Toronto. Why Toronto? Because it was her mother's favorite city. That emotional thread was woven into every detail, from her wardrobe inspired by Canadian autumns to the final line of her unreleased song, "I'll always return to where love found me first." Let that sink in. This level of thought, this depth of artistry, isn't just impressive, it's revolutionary in the world of K-pop stadium tours. And that's why Jisoo didn't just steal the spotlight in Toronto. She owned it. She redesigned it. She made it hers, but don't think the rest of BLACKPINK faded into the background. Far from it. Jennie's high-energy solo had fans bouncing, Lisa's dance freestyle brought out the loudest screams of the night, and Rose's emotional vocals brought literal tears to thousands. The group's chemistry was magnetic. But somehow, throughout it all, Jisoo continued to orbit just a little brighter. Now, here's the twist that kept fans talking long after the final confetti fell. Just as the concert ended, and the girls walked off stage for what looked like the final bow, the lights came back on. Jisoo reappeared, alone, holding a white rose. She walked to the edge of the stage, knelt down, and handed it to a little girl in the front row. No cameras. No announcements. Just a quiet moment between idol and fan. Pure magic. That scene became an instant symbol. Not just of her grace, but of her power. Because while everyone expected a BLACKPINK spectacle, Jisoo gave Toronto something more, something intimate, unforgettable, and deeply human. At the airport the next day, she wore a hoodie pulled low over her eyes, but fans still gathered in hushed reverence. Some cried. Others just whispered thank you. One fan held up a sign that read, "Jisoo, you healed something in me last night." And that sums it up. Jisoo didn't just perform. She connected. She transformed a massive stadium into a shared heartbeat. Into a memory that 50,000 people will carry for the rest of their lives. So what does this mean for the future of BLACKPINK? Is a solo world tour for Jisoo next? Are more unreleased songs coming? Is this the beginning of a new chapter for her artistry? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, on a record-breaking night in Toronto, Jisoo didn't just steal the spotlight, she became the light. If you felt the energy of that moment, or if Jisoo's Toronto performance touched something in you too, don't scroll away. Share this story, leave a comment, and let the world know, Jisoo isn't just a member of BLACKPINK, she's rewriting what it means to be a star. And even now, days after the concert, Toronto still feels the aftershocks. Local news outlets reported an unexpected surge in tourism centered around the Rogers Centre and surrounding landmarks. Cafes and souvenir shops near the venue reported record sales, with many fans returning the next morning just to be close to the spot where the magic happened. Some described the energy of the night as spiritual, life-changing, and unlike any other concert I've ever seen. And at the center of all these stories? One name, Jisoo. But maybe the most fascinating part is how this wasn't a random spark of brilliance. If you trace the signs, the solo debut of Me, the way she's quietly but consistently evolved her performance style, her growing involvement in the creative process, you begin to see the blueprint. Jisoo has been slowly, methodically building towards something bigger. Something more personal. More intentional. And Toronto was her stage not just in geography, but in destiny. Industry insiders have already begun whispering about what they witnessed. One senior K-pop producer in attendance was overheard saying, "That wasn't just a concert segment. That was an audition for icon status, and she passed with flying colors." Even rival fandoms had to admit, Jisoo delivered something beyond expectations. It was performance, but also presence. Precision, but also poetry, and the numbers don't lie. Streaming of Jisoo's solo tracks jumped by 48% in Canada alone within 24 hours of the concert. Online fan forums saw a 300% spike in posts mentioning her. Google Trends lit up with searches like Jisoo Toronto moment, Jisoo new song unreleased, and even Jisoo white rose meaning. The ripple effect was global. Clips of her performance reached trending status in countries like Brazil, Indonesia, and France. But the real story isn't just about numbers or virality. It's about impact. It's about how one artist, in one moment, connected so deeply with an audience that she shifted the emotional tone of an entire arena. It's about how Jisoo, long seen as the quiet, elegant member, stepped into the center with unapologetic power and reminded everyone watching, silence is not absence. It's anticipation. And when it breaks, it's thunder. So what now? Fans are demanding a live recording of the unreleased song. Some are begging for an official release of the Toronto performance. Petitions are circulating online, hashtags are gaining traction, and YG Entertainment has yet to make an official statement. But Jisoo? She's moved in silence, as always. No grand declarations. No post-concert breakdown. Just a few photos on her Instagram with the caption, "Thank you, Toronto. I felt your heart. And we felt hers." So if you were there that night, or even if you just watched it unfold online, you're now part of that story. A moment that transcended sound and spotlight. A night where one woman, in a stadium filled with tens of thousands, made you feel like you were the only one she was singing to. Don't forget to follow for more stories just like this. And tell us in the comments, what was your favorite moment from BLACKPINK's Toronto concert? Because one thing's for sure, Jisoo didn't just leave a mark. She made history.